so let's start straight away with Andrew Simons' team. I would request my producer to load Andrew's team here, right here on the video wall for everyone to see so that Andrew can take us through his team to begin the show. All right, so there it is, Andrew Simons' team. Andrew, some interesting choices here to begin your lineup. Warner, Dhoni as captain, McCullum. Take us through some of those choices.
Yeah, well, I chose Warner. He's two-dimensional. Obviously, he can bat well and he can score you 100 at the top of the innings. Fields very well. I don't want liabilities in the field in my team. Fielding's such an important part of one-day cricket. Dhoni is captain. I like his coolness, his calmness and his ability to lead a team home. And McCullum, he's been around a long time and I like the way he competes. He's very competitive and he's a good man to have in the team. He brings men together.
Right.
And that's the qualities I've brought those three men into my team for.
Let's have the next three guys in the team, the next three players. Kohli, De Villiers, Sangakkara.
Well, those three men there pretty much speak for themselves just through sheer class. Kohli, I'm bringing De Villiers in at 4, Kohli at 5, and Sangakkara all bat at 3.
Not difficult to imagine why. He's been the best scorer, the best batsman probably in the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way I've put it together. You can probably mix those three up any way you like. They're quality players.
Right.
And then I've brought Faulkner in as my all-rounder. He's my fifth bowler. Ashwin's been the pick of the spin bowlers, and then Mitchell Starc. He's bowled excellently at the end. To be followed up with Malinga and Steyn. I had to toss up whether to have Steyn or Morkel. I was thinking Morkel for a different trajectory, maybe something, but I've gone with Steyn purely on experience.
So very interesting choices there by you, Andrew. Faulkner, for that matter, 7 runs in 2 matches and 3 wickets. He's primarily here as an all-rounder, right?
I'm not looking at statistics. I'm looking at the balance of my side. If I had brought in another bowler, the side would have been slightly out of balance if we had lost 3 or 4 wickets early on. So I'm not worried. He's a match winner, and over time he's shown his ability to be a valuable member in a team. So I've picked him on that. There was players like Angelo Matthews and that I was thinking about as well, but I've gone for Faulkner being left arm and a little bit of variety there.
Right. Interestingly, there's no Kiwi batsman. In fact, Shivani Gupta, a correspondent, wanted to ask this question specifically after she came to know of your team, that you don't have any Kiwi bowler in your team.
Kiwi bowler?
I've got no Kiwi bowlers, no. I'm just going on experience. I'm not a sort of a flash-in-the-pan type man. I want men that have done it over a long period of time, so they know what to do when they're under pressure in big games. That's why I've gone for this particular 11.
Right. Also, Andrew, a couple of decisions. Do you personally think Dale Steyn and Malinga are probably the best choices to lead your bowling attack?
Yeah, well, look, I think Lasif is leading in now. He's just coming good. As a player, an experienced player that I've played against him quite a bit, in big games, he's a man you want in your team. So I'm confident that he'd be able to do a job. Unfortunately for you, probably this team will never play together. But I think for the balance and the experience, the amount of times that he's done the business, he's in my team.
All right. Tell you what, Andrew, just hold on to those thoughts. I'll come back to you in a bit. We've got our first caller, Manish from Bangalore. Manish, who is your question for, Andrew or Nikhil?
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, my question is to Andrew Simons.
All right, go ahead.
And it's not regarding that best World Cup 11. I just wanted to ask him a question about the Indian playing 11. Yeah, the thing is that we have given enough chances to Ravindra Jadeja, and I don't know why Dhoni is still giving him so much opportunities, even though he has not, he's not playing well, and he's not.
Right, so he was talking about Ravindra Jadeja before we lost that connection. He seemed to be asking you specifically about the fact that you seem to have missed out on Ravindra Jadeja from your team. Do you think he could have been an option?
Oh, for me, no. He's not in the quality. He's not that world-class quality that of an Ashwin.
Right.
And for me, I want a quality spinner. The batters do the batting, the bowlers do the bowling. And when it comes to bowling spin, I want a quality spinner. And that's what you get with Ashwin.
Right. I would, in fact, now request our producer to load Nikhil's team so that we can take a closer look at what Nikhil has got
Yes.
up in store for us. All right, so there we go.
But
Nikhil,
my friend sitting next to me says yes. Well, you got the left-hander Shikhar Dhawan and McCallum open, the left and right combination. Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I guess that was the common captain between the two of us. I think he's handled the side well, alien conditions, he's stuck by his guys, and the decisions that he's been looking to make, at least on field, have come out pretty well. So, you know, he's one man who keeps a very cool and calm head, doesn't get excited, doesn't look to get carried away with situations as well, and you'd want a captain like that.
Right. The next three,
Kohli, well, I guess speaks for himself. De Villiers, you know, man, that kind of talent, you got to have him. You know, on his day, on a bad day, he'll get you 50, 60. Well. On his day, he'll win you a game single-handedly. And then Watson, a lot of people wouldn't want Watson.
Yeah, that's a very strange choice. I have to admit. I mean, I was a little surprised that you chose Watson.
He might not have got too many runs, but I've got Watto in because of the sheer capability of him being literally like the floating trump card. I could fit him in anywhere that I want him to bat, and also he can get pretty handy when you get him to bowl. Hopefully he stays fit. If he gets unfit, then of course Slinger Malinga comes in. If he's fit, then I would have him in my side.
So you've picked 12.
No, I haven't.
Oh.
Slinger Malinga is...
Well, he wants to go on the safer side, I guess.
Like
all right, so let's see the next
Morgan.
three players there in Nikhil's team.
Faulkner.
All right, again.
You know, those stats, you said that he's got, what, 7 runs in 2 games?
Yeah,
but don't forget,
7 runs into it.
He wasn't needed to come out in bat because Maxwell, Warner, Smith, all these guys have been able to go out there and do the job, but his sheer capability, he's a world-class all-rounder. You know, God willing, he carries on playing for Australia for a long period of time. Opportunities will come. He will go out and show what he is capable of doing on the international stage.
Right.
And then, of course, Shami, again, Stark and Shami, the left and right combination. I think Shami's bowled pretty well in this tournament. He bowls well at the depth. He's got some pace about it. And the most important thing, he's got that new ball to move around. I don't have Steyn in my lineup. I don't know why, for some strange reason, now that you start seeing Dale Steyn has started bowling with a cross seam, even with the new ball. And in these sort of conditions, if you're not getting the ball to swing in the first 7-8 overs, after that it's a flat batting track.
Well, the reason that I've spoken to Dale about this, the reason he does it is when he bowls across the seam. One, when he bowls the bumper, the ball hits the seam and it checks, so it comes off the surface slower. Or if it hits the shiny side, the leather, it skids. And same when he pitches up. So it's just a bit of natural variation that he bowls. But as you said, traditionally we're used to him swinging the ball out.
Yeah, and to the right-hander at that pace, yeah.
Right. In fact, let's now listen into our next caller. We've got Senthil from Bangalore. Senthil, please go ahead. Who is your question for?
My question is for Nikhil. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Nikhil, I think we should be having Sangakkara in the 11 because Sangakkara is one of the good players and he has very good records for the past 4 years. So I'm not sure he's there in your 11, but I think Sangakkara is one of the best players as of now.
Well, I'm glad, Senthil, you picked that out and you called me at least. You know, you had to do something out of the ordinary, but I believe in Mahendra Singh Dhoni. And my top 3, 4, 5, Sangakkara is a fantastic bat. Make no mistake about it. I think he's got terrific credentials. But to me, if I'm making a side for the one days, I need more guys who can shift gears and win you games literally single-handedly. So for me, of course, I guess between the two keepers, I could have one, and I've gone with our captain.
In fact, Nikhil, you'll be surprised to see what's coming up next. My colleague Shivani Gupta, who's been reporting on the World Cup from New Zealand, also picked her 11 for the World Cup, the best 11 to have emerged out of the World Cup. Let's take a look at her 11. So Dhawan, Dhoni, of course, Dhoni is the captain. Also, if you've got the common choice, Rohit Sharma. That's a little strange, but yes. So let's see the next 3 players there in Shivani's team. What's your impression, Nikhil, of Shivani's choices? And of course, Andrew.
Rohit is, of course, you know, one man who can go out there and do the business. He's been slightly quiet in this tournament. But you talk about the explosive power right at the front between McCallum and Rohit. There is, of course, a slight difference. And McCallum has been doing it over a period of time.
Right.
Otherwise, if you look at the bowlers, she's got the left-arm spinner of Daniel Vittori in her side. And, of course, the other Kiwi bowlers in there. I guess she is in New Zealand and she wanted to get a couple of Kiwi bowlers.
Right.
My ideal 11, Himanshu, to be honest, would be the entire Indian team, which I feel can go out there and win the World Cup versus the rest of the world.
Andrew, your take on the choice of bowlers?
Yeah, I mean, she's got Southey in there. I think he's the leading wicket taker at the moment, so I can understand that selection. Dan Vittori's been a quality player over a long period, but I think Ashwin's probably, in my opinion, overtaken him as a better one-day spinner. And that's young Bolt down there in the corner, is
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
he's been a revelation, and I think people have realised how good he is. But I've gone for a little bit more experience, that's all. But I can understand why she's gone for that. And Rohit Sharma, well, Rohit is, you know, if we look in 5 years' time, Rohit could well be the best one-day batsman in the world. And Shivani could also have a crush on Rohit. He's not a bad-looking gentleman. So that's what I'll put that down to. But Rohit, yeah, he's one of my favourites, you know that.
Well, we'll find that out. All right, in fact, we're now joined by Shivani Gupta from New Zealand. Shivani, you've kept out a lot of the big names like McCullum, maybe De Villiers and even Steen. Some interesting choices there.
Yes, some of the big names are missing. 5 of them, if you include Warner and Steyn as well, including McCullum, De Villiers and Chris Gayle. But it wasn't very difficult for me to leave them out. This World Cup 11 is based on performances and utility if you go by positions. Rohit and Shikhar, I felt as a combination have worked so well, it was difficult for me to leave either one of them out and include McCullum. And then when you have Sangakkara, who's scored 4 consecutive ODI hundreds, and Virat Kohli at 3 and 4, Maxwell, who's been a revelation for Australia at 5, and Dhoni as a captain and lower order finisher at number 6, I didn't feel the need to include the bigger names that I have excluded. I will say though that Misbah ul Haq was a close miss out for me. I wanted to include him, but Dhoni edged him out both as a lower order bat and as a captain. And Daniel Vittori finds a spot in my bowling lineup, edging out Ashwin closely because he's playing at home, and at his age, he's been quite a revelation. Nobody thought of him much before the World Cup started. The rest of the pacers, of course, picked themselves. Shami, Bolt, Southey and Stark have been the pick of the bowlers, so that wasn't any trouble at all.
All right, Shivani, would you say your World Cup 11 is missing a good number 7? Bowling all-rounder probably, someone who can bat a bit as well?
Yes, I know. The first question I know anyone would ask of my World Cup 11 is if I'm missing that number 7 bowling all-rounder, someone who can bat as well. And yes, I did think of Faulkner, but I think the 6 batsmen, if they do their job, even if 2 of them do their job on a day, then I'm secured. And when you have a bowling lineup that is picking up, you know, each individual is picking up 3 to 4 wickets in each match. Saudi is capable of picking up 6. Bolt is picking up 7. Then I think even if the batting is problematic on a certain day, then the bowlers will more or less make up for it. So yes, the number 7, not a trouble for me. I'm very happy with my 6 batsmen and 5 bowlers.
Continuing our discussion from where we left it in the previous segment, we've got a caller now. Nikhil joins us from Hyderabad. Nikhil, please go ahead with your question. Who is your question for?
I'd like questioning Simon, sir. And the question I have for you is, sir, coming into this World Cup, you would have expected Steyn, Malinga, and maybe a Mitchell Johnson to light the World Cup up. But that hasn't really happened. Probably Malinga's coming into form now. But what do you think has happened here? And who do you see as the next crop of top fast bowlers in the future? You just said Rohit Sharma, you see as the next big thing. And when it comes to fast bowling, who do you think are the next top fast bowlers in the next 5 years?
Interesting.
That's 3 questions, isn't it?
Exactly. He seems to have asked 3 questions.
Right.
One on Rohit Sharma, one on Malinga, and of course the top 5 bowlers according to you.
Well,
But one quick answer, Andrew.
I think the reason that, you know, Malinga and Johnson haven't fired yet is because the competition's only just getting underway. You know, these games will be forgotten about once the finals start to get played. You know, if a Johnson or a Malinga goes through a side in a quarter-final or a semi-final, that's what everyone will be talking about. And those men are very capable of doing that. So I'm not concerned about that. I think Mitchell Johnson will contribute in a big way at some point if Australia are to win the World Cup. Mitchell Stark's bowling excellently at the moment. And, you know, Mitchell probably sneak in there at some point and knock a team over, I'm hoping. Then in regards to the second part of the question, someone like Rohit Sharma, I think he's only 26 years of age.
Right.
So his best cricket's probably going to be in the next 4 years.
Andrew, I'll have to cut you short here. We've also got an 11 selected by our viewers during the course of the show. Let's quickly go through that 11 here. It's on your screens right now. We've got Shikhar Dhawan, of course, and of course a few very interesting choices they've got. But anyways, they've got the highest wicket taker in this World Cup so far, Josh Davies. Interesting choices there. Well, that's all we have on this show. News and updates continue on Headlines Today.